Hey, what is happening, Cowboys Nation? And this is a great week, man. Welcome to Midday with Cam and Mass. That's my co-host. I'm always backwards. My amazing co-host Mass. And you know what? What a win. I what a win.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
Cowboys Nation.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Like just almost a perfect game on all phases. Really. Just complete domination of playoff Tom, as they were calling him, getting ready for this to playoff. Playoff Tom. Oh, playoff Tom is gonna come back. He's gonna come. You guys are gonna lose. It's Tom Brady. It's the playoff time. Um yeah. It I mean, we'll get into it.
Right.
Let's get into it. It was just domination on both sides of the ball. The offense played great. Dak Prescott played amazing. You had the defense showing up, the defense playing better than they have in the last 4 or 5 weeks, and confusing Tom Brady with different looks and different personnel. Just outstanding performance all the way around by the Cowboys. Well, except
Absolutely.
one
Right.
thing.
Yeah. Besides the one thing. But yeah, absolutely. Both Kellen and DQ called an amazing
Mm-hmm.
game. Dak Prescott, you have to easily put that in the top three performances of his career.
Oh yeah.
And that defense, and we'll get into a little bit more of the defense, but it was very evident that Hankins and LVE were back.
Oh yeah. Hankins played great. Hankins got a sack. Um, you don't get a lot of sacks from a guy like Hankins, but he got a sack in there, especially against Brady. That was
Right,
crazy.
right.
But Hankins played great, shored up that interior, kept the linebackers clean, which allowed LVE to play one of his best games of the year. Coming back, he had his military haircut, looking
Right.
looking sharp, and just playing sharp. Like he was all over the place on Sunday.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we can keep going right on down the line. You want to
Yeah,
start offense, defense? Where you want to go?
let's start offense then. Let's go with
Okay.
the offense.
Yeah.
And who okay, obviously it's Dak Prescott. Okay, obviously Dak Prescott, one of the top 10 performances according to EPA, the seventh best performance in NFL playoff history.
Right.
Well, not history, I apologize. Since 1999 when they started tracking EPA. So since 1999 when EPA became something they started tracking, the seventh best playoff performance by a quarterback. Seventh best. That's how amazing he was on Sunday night. So
Yeah.
obviously he's the guy on offense. But what other guy on offense would you say really stood out to you and had a top performance?
Tyron or Tyler Smith. I that was he those are some big body guys that are
Mm-hmm.
on the other side, and like absolutely phenomenal, lights out. Even when he was shifted to the outside when Peters went down,
Mm-hmm.
flawlessly went out there and just amazing,
Yeah.
amazing.
He saved his best performance for the biggest game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
He
we
was
saw why he's a first round draft pick.
yeah, he has that potential. Really good. I'm gonna have to give it to my guy for a second week in a row. This is surprising for me saying this, but Dalton Schultz came to play
Right,
again.
right.
Dalton Schultz
Yeah.
came to play again. Just really reliable target for Dak. The route he ran for the first touchdown was just a solid route. Dak's eye movement of freezing the safety was perfect, and the throw was perfect. But good route running by Schultz, making the defender think he was going outside and cutting back up straight for the post. And then that
And we saw
second
some
one.
blocking out of him.
Yes, he had some really good. He had some missed blockings. He had a really big hole in the red zone. Didn't cost us because the very next play he had a big block, that sprang him. But his second touchdown is really where his chemistry with Dak is, and you can see that they have good chemistry
Hmm.
together. The play kind of broke down. I thought Dak was just going to dump it off to Tony Pollard in the flat. Dak had other ideas, rolled out, and I kept thinking, just give it to Tony. He's right there. He's right there. Schultz found the opening in the end zone, the little hole right there, came back to the ball. Great throw by Dak on the run, like just fantastic play. Schultz making the play. So Schultz right there, I think he had one of his biggest games as well of his career. Outstanding performance from them both.
Yeah. Zach Martin, that was
Oh, Martin was smart.
quintessential prime Zach Martin
Oh,
out
and
there.
I think that Tyron Smith is starting to get back in his groove of right tackle. It's taken him a couple games. He's been solid overall, but his run blocking wasn't the best, and he got beat here and there in pass blocking over the last few weeks, but he had a really, really solid game. And held it down. So I feel a lot more comfortable with him out there at right tackle. So it looks like he's getting into his groove as well.
Oh, absolutely. Because I saw like better flow and better movement together with Zach
Yeah.
in that they're learning that dance together over on that side. So yeah, I just this team made me so damn happy.
It really did. It really did. And then let's move over to the defensive side of the ball. And who is your standout? Try to pick one because I
Like,
know it's really difficult.
right.
But
Right.
try to pick who's your standout.
Yeah. Yeah, I could keep just going on down the list. I could say the obvious of, Micah or something like that. And okay, nobody's going to be shocked that I'm going to say that my man, the Wolf Hunter, is back. And that side to side motion that we needed, it was phenomenal to see him play like that.
It really was. And he was just all over the place. Great run stopping play. There was a play, John Owning tweeted it out and broke it down, where he basically guarded Godwin, and Julio Jones in the end zone at the same time, running across the field with them both. Then Brady throws it deep to the back of the end zone for Julio Jones, and LVE gets a hands on it and breaks it up. So just fantastic play by him, fantastic recognition of saying, hey, there's a miscommunication out here, and we don't got these two guys. One guy's uncovered. I'm just gonna take them both. And it was great play.
He's just killing wolves in both hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, so it is difficult because I think Micah is the obvious answer, kind of like Dak was the obvious answer on the offense. You could easily say Micah Parsons because he was everywhere, doing everything. LVE obviously is a great answer. I'm having trouble picking between these two other guys, and one of the names DMV put it in there is Izzy.
Yeah.
Who played great, stepped in, and had an outstanding game. The other guy is Jaron Kearse, who Jaron Kearse has been a warrior this year.
Yeah.
How many times has this guy been injured in a game and just fought through it and came back and just kept playing and played at a high level? So I probably will go Kearse just because he's fighting through injuries, he's fighting through pain, and he's playing great recognition. He's breaking up passes, making tackles. So I'll give it to Kearse, but that's not taking anything away from Izzy. He outstanding. No. This is what I love about this game plan from Quinn, is that the last few weeks the defense hasn't been great, and Quinn basically came out, especially after the Commander game. He basically said, "Hey, we are testing out personnel and packages, trying to get ready for the playoffs. Like, we're testing out, seeing who can fill that other void for that cornerback spot." And we had Bland in the slot, and we were playing Trayvon Mullins, we were playing Wright, we were playing Kelvin Joseph, we were playing all these players. And so the Tampa Bay Buccaneers came into that game, and they're like, okay, Bland's going to be in the slot, and let's study these guys. Let's study Trayvon Mullins' tape. Let's study Wright's tape. Let's study Kelvin Joseph's tape just to see who's going to be out there on the outside. And then two of those guys, Wright and Trayvon Mullins, weren't even active for the game.
Right.
And he threw Bland out there outside, and he threw Izzy in the slot. And they didn't know what they had no idea that was coming.
You
and they
think
were
he knew he
completely
was going to do that even before the Washington game?
100%. 100%. It was a sly move by Dan Quinn to say, I'm not going to give them any tape on what I want to do for this playoff game. And it 100% worked. Brady was confused all game.
All game. The entire game.
And if you look at like this, that wasn't a prototypical Brady. He was missing receivers because he was just flustered. Obviously, the pressure was getting to him. Micah Parsons was in his face all night, and every time he saw Micah Parsons coming, he just threw it right into the ground. He was like, "I want none of this."
Right.
But it was just an outstanding game plan and switcheroo by Dan Quinn, and hats off to him. Absolutely, backwards hat. Dan Quinn was in the building.
Yeah. Yes, that's my favorite. Yeah, absolutely. And I would have to say that our one somewhat weak spot in the defense was Trayvon Diggs. His tackling was so poor. I mean, awful. And we can't have that this week.
It was poor tackling, and then it was the unwillingness to go tackle.
Right.
There's so many times when a guy is coming and Trayvon Diggs is backing up instead of going forward. He's got to be more physical. And I see people putting in the chat, and we'll get into this later, but I want nothing to do with Trayvon Diggs on Deebo Samuel at all. And it's not because I don't think he can cover Deebo. I do. But it's when Deebo gets catches, which he will because Diggs plays off coverage so much. And they love throwing screen passes and short crossing routes to him. So he's going to get catches. I don't want Trayvon Diggs trying to tackle Deebo Samuel. He's already hard enough to bring down. And Trayvon's not the tackler to do it.
Right.
So we'll get into that a little bit later. So in this game, the one bugaboo, the one negative we can think about,
right,
was Brett Maher and missing 4 extra points. He did make his last one, but the first 4 he missed, they weren't horrible misses. They were barely misses, especially one that went off the top of the crossbar. But still, it's a point after. Like it's an extra point. Those should be give me's. He went for the regular season. He went 50 for 53 in extra points.
Right.
He only missed 3 field goals all year, and they were all from over 50. I think.
Yeah.
2 of them were fit for 59.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It sucks, but I think people are overreacting to the game, and I think he'll be fine.
Oh yeah, he was at practice today. You know, they had him locked away. Like the media couldn't see him practice, but he ended up going 6 for 6.
Yeah,
and it's just one of the things I absolutely loved is a couple of things that I heard. Well, we all heard in Sounds of the Sideline, CD telling him, "Hey man, we got you. You know how many times you bailed us out?"
Exactly.
And then I guess afterwards in the locker room after the game, that like reporters were six deep trying to get to him, and he sat there and he answered every single question for them.
And Schultz shouted out, "Hey, we got your back."
Right.
You know, and Dak made a statement about saying, "Hey, you know, we got his back. I love Maher. He's been clutch for us." And look, I get it. I know there's that clip out there of Dak saying, "Let's just effing go for 2."
Right.
And yes, in the heat of the moment, in that situation, yeah, he's struggling. Why not go for 2 there? Like, I get it. That does not in any way mean that Dak is not supportive of Brett Maher in any way.
Right.
There's no way that Dak is like, "Hey, you know, I don't want to kick field goals anymore. I don't want this guy on the field." It's just in the heat of the moment at that time, he's saying, "Hey, let's go for 2 because this is obviously not working right now.
Right.
So let's change it up." And that's the absolute right attitude to have. I have the same attitude.
Oh yeah.
So don't read too much into that. Dak has his back. The team has his back, and I think he'll be fine.
Yeah. And was this his first playoff game ever?
Yes, it was. It was his very
Yeah.
first playoff game. I think the moment and the bugs got to him, and
Hmm.
it's unfortunate, but I think
And
he'll
they
be
miss a
fine.
lot of field goals at that stadium too.
They, I think it
Or
was.
am I wrong?
I think so. I think it was Anger who came out
Yeah.
after the game and said that the Buck Stadium has really bad field, and it's considered one of the worst fields in the league. That he's
Yeah.
saying, yeah, you still got to make the kicks. He was like,
Yeah.
you still got to make the kicks,
Right. Yeah,
but
because Sideline Christie had said in the pregame show that it had been returfed, but there were divots everywhere in that field already.
yeah,
So
yeah. Okay. So that was that. Let's get past that. He's going to be our kicker moving
yeah,
forward. He'll
we're
be our
good.
kicker on Sunday. I don't have
He'll
too
be
much
back to Money
concerns.
Maher.
Money Maher. That's right. He's been
He
solid
might.
all year for us, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right. Right. Yeah. I don't have any concerns, and especially because the guy that they brought in for practice squad missed what two or three of the six that he kicked today. So
Yeah. Yeah. The guy's and it's not somebody that's a legitimate kicker that you're thinking like, oh yeah, this is going to be real competition. It's just somebody to come in, push
right.
Maher a little bit, and that's it. We're not worried. He's going to be the guy on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to get into Sunday?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do
Okay.
it.
Divisional round at Santa Clara against the 49ers. A rivalry renewed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing. I texted you guys in the group chat a little bit earlier that I'm surprised at how many Cowboys fans don't remember this, how deep and passionate this rivalry is.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
it is a deep and hate filled rivalry for people like us who watched the games in the 80s and the 90s. Yeah, I get it. It hasn't been such a strong rivalry over the last decade or so, but man, this rivalry runs deep, and I hate the 49ers.
Oh yeah.
And
Hate
I'm
them.
glad that this rivalry is getting renewed with back-to-back
Yeah. I'm old
seasons.
enough to remember the Dwight Clark catch.
Oh, the worst.
So, pain. And they're from that time frame. I mean, I hated these teams more than I hated the Eagles. They were right there with Washington as our rivals during that
Yeah.
entire time, and it was the Niners and the Steelers.
Yeah.
No love for either of those teams at all.
They stopped our four-peat. They beat us in the
Mhm.
94 conference champion NFC championship game. They went on to destroy the Chargers because the Chargers had that was the Super Bowl. Chargers
Right.
had no chance against either team.
Yeah.
But they beat us in that game after and stopped our chance at a three-peat, and then we won the next year. We would have had a four-peat.
Right.
It was that type of rivalry, and we were the team beating them to go to the Super Bowl before that. So those 4 years, it was basically us and the 49ers.
Yeah.
And man, those were heated rivalries. And now I think it's coming back. I think, look, this is the NFC Championship game, in my opinion. Whoever wins this game is going to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. I know Eagles fans will cry and say whatever they want. I think there's a good chance they lose to New York on Saturday, but that's just my opinion.
Right.
But I'm so excited for this game and this rivalry. 49ers fans are unbelievably confident. And I don't know how many times I've been told by 49ers fans that we have no chance, zero chance, not even giving us a chance. They think it's like a walk in the park. And I don't
How do
understand it.
you I mean, we can go back and we can look at different games like we talked about, like them against the Saints in Atlanta and things like that. But and they can go back and look at some of our bad games. Granted. But when we start to really break some of this stuff down, like if you just take this last weekend's tape side by side with each other, how do they even come close to saying that?
No
How
idea.
do they come close to saying it when if you look at the teams that in the quarter or the teams that they've had to play and what the point differential is, what their win-loss records are combined, the quarterbacks that they've had to play Tom Brady and they've had to play Patrick Mahomes, and then they had to play these guys.
Cam preaching right now.
If you really break some things down, strength of schedule could not be anywhere near what ours was.
Not even close. Oh, well, you look at it, the Cowboys had the 9th hardest strength of schedule. The 49ers had this 26th hardest strength of schedule.
Yeah.
26th hardest. The point differentials they played for teams were not great. Were not great at all. So, I mean, I'm not trying to say they're frauds because I think they're a very good team.
No, they are.
A very talented team. They have tons of players. But
Yeah,
just to sit there and be
coaching,
like,
the
and their
coaching.
coaching's great.
Yeah.
But just to sit there and say that we have no chance is just
I hope that's a
stupidity.
really hard landing after that fall.
Yeah, I mean,
They're
it
so
will be.
high. They've got them so high up there that I hope it's really painful when they
It
hit.
will be. Like when they lost to the Rams last year. Like
Right.
they thought they were going to the Super Bowl again. And it didn't work out.
Yeah.
So let's get into the matchups a little bit because they are a really, really talented team. So I don't want to say that. I don't want to say discredit them like they're trying to discredit us. I don't want to discredit them at all because they're a really talented team. So let's start with their offense, our defense. Let's start there. Okay. Man, they have offensive firepower and the skill position players.
Oh yeah.
CMC is one of the best running backs in the NFL when healthy. Absolutely one of the best. He's one of my. I loved him. I've been a huge fan of him since college. So that guy can take it to the house anytime. He can run between the tackles, which everybody thought he couldn't when coming out of college. He can do it all. He can catch.
Yeah.
He is something that you really have to look out for, especially for the Cowboys. You know, he loves getting to the outside, getting to the edges. The Cowboys have struggled at times for defending the edges on runs. They've been better in the second half of the year, especially with Hankins being there, allowing our linebackers to run free. What is, you think, the best way to slow down McCaffrey in this game?
Definitely. I mean, LVE is gonna be a huge factor in it and slowing him down. We're gonna have to use LVE in some of that. We're gonna have to bring in, you need some of the quickness of. Oh gosh, I mean, I don't know if you're gonna creep up and use Donovan in some of that.
I think you're gonna have to. It's going to be a little bit of the opposite of what we did on Sunday against the Buccaneers, because what we did on Sunday against the Buccaneers is we dared the Buccaneers to run the ball. We said, "Hey, run it. We'll let you run it. We're way more concerned about your wide receivers and Tom Brady than we are about your running backs." And it worked out. This week, I think we're going to have to say, "Hey, we are way more concerned about your running game than we are about your passing game." And I get it. I understand they have weapons at wide receiver, but they also have Brock Purdy at quarterback, who is being massively overblown and overrated by 49er fans.
Well, I think a lot of the success he's had so far is, some of the teams they've played that he's gotten to play. But I think that Kyle is in a lot of ways protecting him in the way that he is getting to play. That they are utilizing the run game. That a lot of these throws are in the middle, because it's no secret that the biggest thing of their success is the yards after catch.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Not these long bombs. I mean, yeah, he had that one bomb to Debo last weekend, but these are dink dunks in the middle, down the side kind of things, and then it's the yards after catch. And when you've got someone like Debo Samuels, who's kind of like a pseudo running back also that you can utilize, and you've got Christian McCaffrey that can catch like that, and then you do have the weapons. But it's that yards after catch that has to be contained. And I think you rattle Brock Purdy, and if you look at that first half of the Seahawks game, and if you specifically look at the Atlanta game and the Raiders game, you shake that kid up,
Mhm.
and it's not going to go well.
Yeah, they have. They're real. Shanahan's a master at
Oh yeah,
scheming players
absolutely.
opens. He's throwing to a lot of wide open receivers, and that's great. Um,
Hold on, Mass, time out. I see we have a Niners fan in the comments.
yeah, I
And
see him
dude,
going off.
if you want to come in and you want to be part of it and you want to bring some great information in and be good with with our fans that are always in here, by all means please do. But when you're going to make comments like the Commanders are better, then that's where we're going to have to call you out. Don't be a juice pouch.
Yeah,
Be a better fan.
yeah.
So, okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. So Shanahan is great at scheming players open and getting, and he's throwing to a lot of throwing to a lot of wide open receivers. The thing is yeah, every once in a while he'll take a shot and everything like that. The 49ers, like you said, it's yards after catch. The 49ers are third in the NFL in yards after catch, third overall. Brock Purdy has an average yards, intended air yards per pass attempt. So what that means is how far is he throwing the ball to where the wide receiver is? Not how many yards it ends up being because the wide receiver broke tackles, but how many yards from where he threw it to where the wide receiver was when he caught it. That's the intended air yards per pass attempt is 6.6 yards. That is, if he qualified with enough pass attempts, that would have placed him as good enough to be 31st out of 32. He's not throwing it far. He's dinking and dunking it, and they're breaking tackles. And Mendoza mentioned it. That's why tackling is so important in this game, and why I don't want Diggs on Deebo Samuel.
Right.
So it's so important to get these guys, hit them early, and get them down to the ground. Because if you do that, like we were doing with the Buccaneers, you're going to make them have to do third and longs. And that's going to hurt them because it's going to have to rely on Purdy. And I said this about the San Francisco offense for many years with Jimmy Garoppolo. One day you're going to run into a defense who makes you have to throw the ball to win the game. Jimmy G could never do it. He could win games, but when it came down to he had to throw to win the game, he could not do it. The Chiefs did it to him in the Super Bowl. He could not throw to get them back in that game. The same thing is with Purdy. If you force Purdy to throw, be that guy. Hey, I got to throw, and I can't dink and dunk it. I got to throw this ball down the field. He's not going to be able to do it. I'm sorry.
He also doesn't run. He's not a mobile quarterback either.
He can move around the pocket. He can move the pocket,
right.
But he is not going to be Daniel Jones out there running for 50 to 60 yards.
Right.
What is that, guys? Oh, whatever. No one's timing anybody out, man. My man. We just said, hey, don't come in here saying stupid stuff like that because just a troll. We don't deal with trolls. Okay, so.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah. See, this is troll. This is troll. Y'all lost to the Bears. Y'all lost. I mean, anybody can do that. We're not going to get into that. Okay. Yeah. So look, that's just our defense is going to have to come to play. Our defense is going to have one of their best games because this team, this offense, they have playmakers. Then they have Shanahan calling their plays. Our defense is going to have the best game of their season, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. So let's shift gears and let's go into the 49ers defense versus our offense. What are some matchups you like there?
I actually like Dak Prescott running against their defensive line. I think this is going to be a big key to this game. We needs to be very mobile like he was last weekend. And I think he's going to be able to get some yardage and make some moves in that way.
I do too. So to your point, the 49ers like to spread out their rush and come wide, especially with Bosa, because they're trying to go wide. They want Bosa to go wide, and they want him to be able to get one-on-ones with the running back, which is obviously a mismatch. That's how Bosa succeeds. so much is they get him so wide and he rushes. It's hard for the tackles to get out there, so the running back has to try to make the block. But when you do that, you open up the middle of the field.
Exactly.
And Dak, obviously, we saw what Dak can do with his legs last week. He's feeling way more comfortable running the ball this year. I think Dak can kill them with runs up the middle until they have to adjust. Absolutely. I do love that game plan. That's a great one. They do have a great pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
Their pass rush is one of the best in the NFL, and what they do is they rush 4 and they get home. So our offensive line is going to have to play their best game. And I know I might get some hate for this because he just played his best game of the year. I'm worried about Tyler Smith at left tackle.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because yes, he just played his best game of his career. But all year he struggled in pass blocking. And this isn't a team that you want to be out there struggling against.
Mm-mm.
Especially protecting Dak's backside, blind side. So I'm a little worried about Tyler right now, especially if they're throwing Bosa on that side.
Yeah. And I have a bit of concern of, with Fred Warner there in the middle, and Shavarius Ward, how it's going to affect our tight ends and our run game on top of that. Now, I don't have as much concern with their secondary on our wide receivers, especially with the separation that we saw them get this last game. But, Fred Warner, that man's a beast. And so, and I really think that he between, maybe even, covering Schultz or Ferg or Hendershot or something like that, or with the run game, more so with him stopping Zeke than I think Pollard's finesse. But
yeah, speaking of their pass coverage, like you did, this is a big thing. Is they have struggled this year overall in pass coverage, and in the last 4 weeks, especially, they have really struggled. And let me just break down. So first let me say, if the low line can give Dak time, Dak can piece apart and pick apart and dominate this secondary. And let me just explain to you some stats on why I say that. In the last 4 weeks, the last 4 games, the 49ers have given up 264.3 yards per passing yards per game, which is good enough for 28th in the NFL. Opponent's completion percentage is 71.5, which is good enough for 30th in the NFL. They've allowed 9 passing TDs, which is the most in the NFL over that time. And the opponent's passer rating is 98.1, which is good for 28th in the league. Now you say, oh, okay, that's terrible. Just honestly, that's terrible. But then you go and you say, okay, well, who have they played? They have played 1 game against the Commanders, which was Taylor Heineke and Carson Wentz combined. They played about half each game. So that was 1 quarterback. Then the next week they played the Raiders, and Jared Stidham did that. And then they played I don't remember the team, but it was David Blah, whatever you say his name. That he did. Yeah, exactly. That guy did that. And then Geno Smith in the playoffs with the Seahawks. Those are the quarterbacks that have done that to the 49ers secondary. So what do you think a quarterback like Dak, Arizona? Thank you, DMZ.
Yes,
thank you, Arizona.
There we go.
Arizona.
Thanks,
I appreciate that. David Blah. That's his play. It's just blah. And they did that. What do you think a quarterback like Dak, who just dissected a good Tampa Bay defense, what do you think he has the ability to do if our own line can keep him clean and block? That's the big if. That is the huge if.
Yeah. Some of the other ones, Justin Fields, and they beat them.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson. We know what kind of year he had. Matthew Stafford. We know what kind of year he had. He got the combination of Mayfield, PJ Walker when they played Carolina, or they did.
Yeah, not the Rams. Not the
Yeah.
Rams. Baker Mayfield.
No. Marcus Mariota, Colt McCoy, the first time they played Arizona. Andy Dalton. Yeah. Tua, Heineke, and like the other ones you've mentioned. Yeah.
So like that's the big if our O-line can block, especially if our O-line can block their 4-man rush. If they have to take a man out of their coverage, which they like to drop 7 in coverage, they're already struggling like that. If they have to drop a man down to try to rush to get 5 rushers, a blitz, Dak can just dice them, dissect them. So that's the big if. That is my key to this game. The trenches are usually the key to the game, but especially for us on offense, can our offensive line hold up against their pass rush? And if it can, Dallas can do some work.
Yeah. Totally agree with you completely. No, I was trying to. Oh, I saw Jalen Smith's name and I was like, what?
No, we're not. Jalen Smith.
He's in the playoffs.
He is in the playoffs. He is in the playoffs with New York. Hey, we're cheering for Jalen Smith this week.
Yes, we are.
Because if we win and then the Giants beat the Eagles, we will host the NFC Championship game in Arlington.
We will.
So that would be big. But we'll have to see how that goes on Saturday. And then, of course, we'll have to win on Sunday, which is not going to be an easy game, people. Like, I know 49ers are making it say that it's going to be easy for them. It's not going to be an easy game.
Not.
It's going to be a slugfest.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if the numbers are going to rival because what was that? That game Monday night was
like 30 point something million viewers. It was the highest playoff watch playoff game since like 1999 or something like that.
Yeah, it was insane. But
yeah,
it'll be interesting. And the other thing that
beats it this week.
Yeah, and the other thing that I thought was really interesting is that yesterday, the Eagles have had, essentially almost a 2-week bye right now, and they rested 10 guys still. And I don't know if they are out of padded practices. They're only allotted X amount of padded practices, and maybe it was like, oh, okay, we're out of padded practices. Why we'll just rest these guys or what? But it was an interesting injury list that they had.
I love the confidence. There we go. There. I love it.
Yeah.
Get that home game. Okay, let's get into some predictions here. Okay. Let's go with bold predictions first. What do you got a bold prediction for me?
My initial one was to say that Money Maher kicks the winning field goal. And because that would be a very storybook ending and things like that. But because I want to go with that energy that Dak had, and that was lights out Dak. Superman flying straight in the air. That was Mississippi State pounding, running, hitting guys. Dak Prescott is going to run in the winning touchdown.
Okay. I love it. Another bootleg.
Yeah. Oh, that bootleg was
beautiful.
That was the most perfect fake out that the camera was even going the wrong way.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So I'm going to go with my bold prediction is going to be that the Cowboys defense forces 3 turnovers. Nice. I think they're going to have a big day and big impact in this game. And I think it'll be three turnovers. I'll say 2 interceptions and a forced fumble. That's how I'll go with it. But I think they're going to have a big hand in this game, and they're going to need to. They really are. So give me a standout player for you on offense, and then we'll go to the defense.
My offensive, just because looking at the matchups and who they're going to put on who for our offense, Mr. Sedarian Lamb is going to go off.
Okay. I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay. My offensive player, and man, you guys are gonna start thinking I'm a huge fan. Um, I'm gonna go Schultz again.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Schultz again. I think that I think Schultz is going to have another big game. They're going to be worried about Sedarius Lamb. They're going to be worried about us pounding the run, and he's going to be killing them over the middle. And like I said, like you said, they open up the middle of the field a lot with their defensive formation. Yes, I think he's going to have to take some big hits. Because Fred Warner's a big hitter.
And they've
Hufanga's a
got what
big
I
hitter.
was gonna say they've got
Yep,
Hufanga in there too.
and everybody knows how much I love Talanoa Hufanga. I hate that he's a 49er. It burns me to my core that he is a 49er. But he's going to be laying some wood. He's a huge hitter. So Schultz is, going to have to hold on to that ball. But I think he does have a big game. So I'll go Schultz again. Who do you got on defense?
I'm gonna say Donovan Wilson this week.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because of his tackling. He is one of, I think, the best tacklers, not only on the team but maybe in the league. And I think you're gonna need that, especially with Kittle there in the middle and everything like that. So I'm going Donovan Wilson.
Okay, I like that. I'm going to say Bland,
Okay.
and hear me out on Bland. The reason I say Bland is because I think Bland is probably going to be your guy who sees the most of Deebo Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said, you don't really want Diggs on him because of the tackling and how much off coverage he plays. Deebo goes into the slot a lot. So Bland, I think, is going to be the guy that, hey, I want Diggs on Ayuk and I want Bland on Deebo, and I want to force. Bland can tackle. Bland's not scared to tackle, and he fights for the ball. He's hungry, and I think that that's going to be the best because he'll fight for a ball on a crossing route, and that's what Deebo does. He does a lot of crossing routes. He does a lot of screen passes and goes. So Bland is going to have to step up big time, and if we're going to win this game, I think he does.
Love it.
Okay. Here's a good one. Who do you think has a bigger game, a bigger impact on the game? Turpin or Maher?
Maher. He's going to come back. It's the resilience. It's the redemption thing. It's going to be Maher. He's going to make sure he's perfect.
I agree with you. I think Maher is going to have a big game, and yeah, so I think he has a redemption game as well. So, okay. Okay, so let's get into our score predictions. Okay. What do you got? What do you got for us on your score predictions?
Okay, so this week is not going to be anywhere as comfortable as last week. It's not.
You will
It's
be
just
sitting
not.
on the edge of your couch the entire time if you're sitting down at all.
Right, right. I will be up in Seattle, and there will be lots of beer involved, I think, on this one. Just because of these teams both having such good defenses and everything like that, I don't think it's going to be a super high scoring game. I do have us winning by a touchdown, and I'm calling it 24-17 Cowboys.
Okay. All right. Not bad. Not bad. So I agree with you. I think it's going to be an incredibly close game. And I think it's going to be hard fought down to the wire like it was last year. And I know everybody's like wants to make it seem like we got blown out by the 49ers last year. We didn't. It was a one-score game and we were driving. We just couldn't get down the field fast enough and go for the win.
I've
But it was a
blocked all that
one-score
out
game.
of I've blocked that all out of my head.
Yeah, so like that's something I just don't understand why people think that we got blown
Right.
out in that game. Yeah,
Yeah.
they got a lead on us, but we came back and it was a
Right.
one-score game. We had the ball. So what I got is I got a game that's hard fought, down to the wire, And with 3 seconds left in the game, I have it 24-24. And I have Brett Maher kicking a 62-yard field goal to send the Dallas Cowboys into the NFC Championship game at home against the Giants. Brett Maher, game-winning 62-yard field goal. He's never missed from 60 plus. He won't
So
miss.
it's gonna. We have the cardiac Cowboys this weekend. Is what you're telling me?
You're gonna have a heart attack in this game. Trust me. And it's going to be a 62-yard. Quote it. Write that down. Massey said 62-yard field goal to win the game. Because remember, last week, if you were here, when I said that Dak Prescott would have 4 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown, that he came through for me. And I was spot on. Spot on. I wasn't just 5 touchdowns. He had 4 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown. So believe me when I tell you, Brett Maher is going to kick a 62-yard field goal with time expiring to send the Dallas Cowboys to the NFC Championship game. 27-24. Book it. That's what happened.
Perfect.
And because of my prediction got right last week, we did have a winner. I announced it on Twitter. He did respond to me in DMs, so he's picking his prize. We'll get that shipped out to him from Twisted Gorilla. But Cam, I think you have a contest for us this week.
I do. Okay. And you know what? We're gonna stay with that same energy that we had last week. And if my bold prediction comes true, that Dak Prescott runs in the winning touchdown this week, you will also get a free t-shirt from Twisted Gorilla. So
I love it.
So yeah, you got to get on Twitter and make sure you're following us. Make sure you subscribe to Pick Six Sports. Got that little notification set on our show. And we're gonna have you like and retweet my tweet for it. And guys, just hold on, because wait till you see what we've got as giveaways when we're in the NFC Championship game and when we're in the Super Bowl. We're upping it.
There's some big prizes. It's getting upped, and it's we love our Twisted Gorilla family. We love the shirts they provide. They have great content, but these ones are a little bit more special, and they're the bigger prizes we've been saving all year. So getting to the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl, there's going to be some big competitions, and you're not going to want to miss that. So make sure you do subscribe to the channel. You do hit that little bell. If you're on YouTube, I think it is, that gives you the notifications to let you know, hey, we've gone live, because we got a lot of content, not just us, but the rest of Pick Six family. You have after the game Tuesdays, you have Tuesday Due Diligence with Cam and Stevie. Wednesdays, you have the Pick Six shows with Nix, Spoonie, Mariella, and Professor O. Then you have us every Thursday. And then Friday nights, you have the Freestyle Friday. So we're putting out as much content as we can for you guys. And when the season ends in a few weeks after the Super Bowl, when the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, we're going to still put up more content. There's going to be draft content coming and stuff like that. So it doesn't end when the season ends. We're going to keep going. But we got some good stuff for you guys coming up. And also, don't forget, if you didn't make it last week before the game, Kelly K9 and myself, we hosted a get-together where people took shots before the game just to celebrate, just a little quick celebration. Let's go Cowboys. Got them together. I think we had 2 groups and probably a total of about 150, 160 people all together between the 2 different groups. We had a shots, just good time. It doesn't take long. It's like 5-10 minutes at the most that we got that each group took to get it all set up. But we're looking to do that again this week for this game. Since we won last week, might as well continue it. Can keep it going. So look out for that. If you don't follow Kelly K9, make sure you follow him to get the notifications, to let him know you want to be a part of that, because he puts all the groups together. You got anything else, Cam?
No, nothing. But once again, I see people being a bit kinder to each other on the timeline this week than they were last week, and thank you all for that. But just continue to be kind. shut out the haters and go Cowboys.
I like this one. I like this contest. That seems like a win-win right there.
Has he talked to TC about that?
Yeah, where is
Loyalty.
TC? I haven't seen TC in a couple weeks. Do you know what anybody?
He popped in.
Oh,
I think he might have popped in on Tuesday. Tuesday when I was with CBJ. Oh, and just a programming note. Stevie J has got some work thing on Tuesday. I will be flying back from Seattle on Wednesday, so midday due diligence will be on Monday next week for everybody. So
okay, I like it. I love it. And like Mendoza always, love you, Mendoza, always putting it out. Like, follow,
yes.
subscribe. The more you hit the channel, you like it and everything like that, that just gives us more exposure to people. So we appreciate all that. Share it with your family and friends. Let them know that, hey, we're on. We got all these shows and this content for you guys. And we love talking to Cowboys and winning and the Cowboys winning. That's that right there. That's the number one thing is Cowboys winning. So we're 2 games away from the Super Bowl, 3 games away from being champions. That's it.
Who'd have thought?
All right, everybody. We appreciate you guys sticking with us and following along. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, a rest of the week and weekend, and a wonderful Sunday. Actually, Saturday and Sunday, because if we get the games go flowing the way we need it to be, we can have a perfect weekend. And that's what I'm hoping for. Perfect weekend.
Yep. All right, guys. Everybody be good to each other. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.